All right, welcome back to the Mrs. IE 427 channel, everybody. I want to start this update on the shop outside the shop, and because I'm going to explain this in two parts. I actually did the AC out here twice as far as the startup on it. So the AC is running, it's working great. We've got this unit, I think it's a 1.5 ton or a 2 ton that we picked up from Pioneer, which is the same company that we used for our office, and that one has been working perfectly for the past 2 years. Now, I showed you guys I poured the pad for it. Obviously the unit outside is bolted down to that. We've got a disconnect switch there. We've got all our wiring all squared away, and our refrigeration lines run. You can see the condensate drain is condensating. But what I want to talk about is the startup on this. Now, there's a million, I'm exaggerating a little bit, different videos on YouTube and you know, all the other platforms on how to install one of these mini splits. I didn't think anybody needed another one of those, but we did ours a little bit different. Oh, it's gonna be dark here. Let's see if I can turn around. We did ours a little bit different. I didn't want to invest in a set of gauges that I would only use once or maybe twice. And I didn't want to invest in a vacuum pump. Now, I could have borrowed a vacuum pump, and I may have been able to borrow a set of gauges. But the manufacturer of this unit that we bought has a kit, and it is a evacuation kit. Basically, it's a chemical, like a refrigerated chemical or refrigeration chemical that you put into the system while the system is closed, and it flushes out the lines, and it also purges the air out. So I thought, well, it was worth a shot to do it that way, and that's what we did. So this is the kit that we used from Pioneer. They sell this kit. It's called the Quick Evac system, and so basically it's they say it's a line flushing kit for split air conditioning systems. And on the can, and kind of on here too, but on the can specifically, it tells you exactly how to evacuate your system using this can. So there's a blue hose that comes with it, and it attaches directly to the service port on the unit outside, the mini split system. Now, the mini split systems have a different size service port than a standard home air conditioner. And a lot of the AC guys have those, and some of them don't. Regardless, this particular kit came with a hose that screwed right on. So you didn't have to worry about going out and buying an adapter or anything else. I think the line kit, the flush kit was like $45, something like that. I bought it with the mini split system. So we put the mini split in, and you know, just like all of these other videos that are out there, we torqued all of our fittings to the prescribed torque rating. Now, keep in mind, when you're torquing that, you're holding it against your own arm strength, basically, because you know, you're holding the wrench with one arm, and then you've got a torque wrench with a crow's foot on the other end. And so as you're tightening those lines together, it's all based on how much pressure you're putting on it with your arms. And so there's less likelihood of you getting a true torque reading from those. But the bottom line is you don't want to over tighten them, because you don't want to split the copper on the flare that actually seats the end of the tubing to the other fitting. And you don't want them loose, because then they'll leak. Now, we didn't have any leaks. We had the system actually operating for about 2 weeks. And I started to get a little uncomfortable with the idea of having these fittings in the wall. So in a lot of instances, those tubes that come out of the back of the unit here will go straight out the wall, right? But remember, we've got a wall inside of the wall that's already of the metal building. So there's a 12-inch space in between this plywood and the steel sheeting on the outside. So rather than having the line set run straight out and down exposed on the outside, what I did is I ran it down through the cavity of the wall over to about here, and then out to that unit that you see outside. So I've got two fittings that were back here. And I made an access so that if we ever had to get to them, we could. But I was still uncomfortable having those fittings there. Because eventually we're gonna put some vinyl siding up on the walls in here, and what do I do then? Am I gonna put another access panel on top of the access panel that's already there in order to be able to service these things if ever there becomes a time where we have to service this? And I just figured, you know, in the long run, it's probably just better to have my AC guy come out, eliminate those two fittings in there. There's actually 4 fittings, but 2 connections, and have him braze the line set so that they're continuous from the unit inside out to the unit outside, where there are 2 fittings. Now, it's not cheap. The service call to have him come out here and do that entire thing was almost $500. But in the long run, I think it was worth it. Now, I probably would have spent, if I had it professionally installed, I would have probably spent $900 to maybe $1,100 to have the mini split installed. In the long run, I just thought it was better to have him come out here, braze those lines so they were continuous, and only have connections outside that we would ever have to deal with. And so he had to evacuate the system, then he had to cut the line set loose, and then he had to swedge the ends of one side of each of the fittings or the pipes that come out of the back of the unit. And then what that does is it opens up the pipe just enough so that the other pipe can slide in it, and then it can be brazed or soldered. I think it's brazed. And he did that, and then we re-insulated everything. But he had a cool trick for the lines outside. And I want to let you guys in on this little secret that he told me about these lines outside. So hang on, we'll walk outside. Okay, so the unit's running, but if you look in here, right here, you can see that there is a fitting. There's actually a fitting on both of these now. And they're a hard copper fitting. And then they have a flared nut on the end of them. And what this does, it allows you to torque down on those fittings much more than you would be able to if they were just the soft copper. And so there's less likelihood that they're going to leak. And so Chris, my AC guy, told me or suggested to me that we put those on as well. That also added to that, you know, almost $500 cost to have these things, you know, to have the system evacuated and then go ahead and braze these on and then, you know, put the refrigerant back in the line set. But I think in the long run, it's going to be worth it. So we got all that done. It's been working just perfectly the last 4 days. It's been hot. It's in the triple digits right now. So it's well over 100 outside. And I've got this set at 82. I don't know if you see that. So 82. But inside here, it's actually cooler than that. I have the thermometer over here, and the thermometer is telling me that it's 80 degrees. So we're doing pretty good keeping this cool, and keep in mind, I've still got some big gaps around the windows that need to be filled. All I've got over on this end, closing that opening up, is some 2-inch foam. So clearly, we still have some work to do in order to, you know, keep the hot air out and the cold air in, and vice versa in the wintertime. But I think we're doing pretty good right now. So I'm gonna leave it right here. So I just wanted to give you guys all a shop update on what's been going on around here. If you're enjoying the content here, please do the like, the share, the subscribe, all that kind of stuff. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.